Okay, I'm calling to order this meeting of the Safety Subcommittee. I would ask the clerk if she could please call the roll.
Chairperson Martin,
Here.
Mr. Rossi, Mr. Lay. Mr. Lay, you're on this committee.
Yeah.
Two present.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So we have two different motions that were referred to this subcommittee that we will be getting responses from the administration. The first was a motion by Mr. Conway requesting the superintendent develop an RFP and identify an outside school security company, subject matter experts, for the purpose of conducting a total safety and security assessment of the Lowell Public School System. Mr. Conway, I don't know if you'd like to preface this with anything or if you'd just like to get into the administration's response.
I have the administration's response. So.
Okay, excellent.
So
I believe we have Ms. Crocker-Roberge here this evening to respond.
Yes, thank you so much, Ms. Martin. Good evening. I'm so glad to be here to talk about our safety office that we have. And I also would like to make note that our safety coordinator for the district, Lisa Brokowicki, is here with us as well. She has, in response to the inquiries around what we do in the safety office to provide for safety auditing, and what the efforts are that have been ongoing since the motion was made some time ago. Ms. Brokowicki has some slides to share with you, and I'd like to give her, if it's okay, the opportunity to kind of walk you through those and help orient the committee to sort of the main components and tenets of some of her work.
Excellent.
Great. Thank you for letting me be here today. Let's start with the slides. Okay, thank you so much. So we do have a district-wide safety committee that meets monthly throughout the year. We have our first meeting last year started in October. We're going to start a little bit sooner this year with that. We have representation from the Lowell Police Department, the Lowell Fire Department, the Emergency Operations Center, Administrators Health Department is here, Student Support Services, Nikki Gonzalez, and anybody else who would like to join. We usually, I usually send something out at the beginning of the year indicating do you still want to maintain on the safety committee, and if you have other members that would like to join. So we have a vast range of elementary, middle, and high school representation as well. We also have.
Vicki, I'm terribly sorry to interrupt you, but is there a way to share the slides?
Oh, I'm not. Just give me a second.
Sure thing.
Again, I apologize for interrupting.
No, we want you to be able to see them while she's speaking.
Can you see it now?
Yep, it just came up. Thank you very, very much.
Okay, thank you for your patience, Susan.
I'm sorry.
Just slide up a little bit. Besides the district-wide safety committee, we also have another specialized committee that meets weekly, on Wednesdays. It's the safety coordinator, the IT department, and facilities members from each of those to discuss and go over collaborating safety projects across the district, for example, like key card accesses when they go down, cameras, PA systems, and our bell systems as well. Anything else that comes up to in that committee, we've resolved some of those. Let's move forward with safety initiatives.
And there are some times where the specific situation will result in the need for safety and facilities to collaborate. We had some loose stone on the front of the steps of the Washington that created a bit of a safety risk that just kind of became dislodged. And so Lisa works in tandem with the facilities folks to make sure that those types of issues that might present a more urgent safety concern are addressed right away. In accordance to when you think about the wintertime, if there's a large snowbank blocking the entryway or exitway and creating a field of impairment in the field of vision for our bus drivers or whatnot, there are a myriad of big and small items that come the way of that particular committee.
Perfect, thank you. So our purpose and missions is to foster equitability, inclusive learning environments district-wide, where families are actively engaged in the services of student belongings and social emotional well-being. The safety committee purpose is to create and maintain a physical and emotional safe environment for all, for students, staff, and families by identifying those safety concerns, implementing preventative measures, and promoting awareness of safety practices. Creating that safety environment ensures that the physical campus is secure, emergency procedures are in place, and safety protocols are followed. We're always updating that along with that safety committee group to see where we make improvements, what needs to move forward with those protocols to enhance them, and whatnot. Promoting the belonging and well-being includes emotional and psychological safety by addressing bullying prevention, crisis response, and trauma-informed practices. We also have the threat assessment team that works closely with that and making sure we keep people up with their CPI training. Highlights and accommodations that we had a little bit from last year. The school safety audits are done twice a year. Those continue to evolve and change. The initial safety audit that was conducted was those large scale ones that we see with companies that can come in. And we did a lot of those with schools with the police department as well. We always include them. They can't always make it to each school with us, but they do help out on that initial large one that had like 31 components. We now focus more on areas of major improvement that is needed that we saw on some of those audits. So we downscaled it a little bit. We do it twice a year, September, October, and then April, May. We're constantly doing audits even when we walk into a school. So those audits are specific, but I'm always doing a perimeter walk and checks around the area. We also have the ALICE is our emergency drills. We, again, with the safety committee, we were able to really focus on making sure that all of our elementary schools are conducting them the same way with a short story. The middle schools are all doing it the same way now, and the high school is a little bit different. That was a big undertaking to make sure that we're all on the same page and we were training the same way because it progresses as they get older.
We used a web-based training module this past year for ALICE training so that all of the district staff were brought up to speed with the latest. You used to hear us use terms like options-based response, and we've moved fully into the adoption of the ALICE protocol, which has been updated based on the collective best research of all sorts of large-scale mass casualty incidents that have taken place, unfortunately, throughout the country.
Yeah, we also worked with the fire department and NEMLIC and the local police department for our staging locations around the area based on the needs of those schools if we needed to evacuate and needed a staging area. That has been a binder, the crisis plan that has now been uploaded for the dispatch. And they have all of our maps and everything included in that, which is really exciting. We do go over every year. That same crisis manual will be reviewed with Lowell Police. Rally and reunification sites were confirmed again this year. We made a few changes based on looking at the areas and changes within the community. Collaboration with Lowell Police and Fire Department emergency evacuation routes. We made sure that there was go bags in every classroom across the district, pre-K through high school now, has them along with emergency flip charts. With again, emergency flip charts, we're then part of that safety committee, along with all those police and fire. They always sign off on things like that emergency for me until it's the final product. We did window numbers. In all the schools, we have 3 small schools to complete because we needed a ladder. It'll be done tomorrow and next Wednesday. The window numbers will tell the teachers from law enforcement outside what room number they're in if they need assistance immediately. And that was again in collaboration with Captain Penrose and Sergeant Marshall. We have now a universal emergency language because we realized that some schools were using one language and another school was using a different language, and that makes it really hard and difficult for people that move from one school to another, and or for those that are visiting in the school, OT, PT, speech. We needed to make sure that it was a universal across. We've actually, for all these universal emergency language, the police department is now asking the private schools to use that same language. So it's evolved to that next level, and they're asking them to put window numbers in as well. And then threat assessment protocols were updated again by the help of Dr. Barrett, which is our psychologist that helps with the threat assessment in some of our trainings with staff on it.
And the threat assessments, just so for folks who aren't aware of necessarily what a threat assessment involves, we work with young people. Sometimes young people may be flipped to make a comment or something that contains a threat of some nature. And we now have, over the past year and a half, have undergone significant training with staff to be able to use a set of criteria to evaluate the seriousness of the threat, whether it's something that could be substantiated, has the means to be carried out. So there's a pretty involved process. There's a shorter version of a screener, and then if that trips up a concern, they go into a much longer, more detailed version of it. And that's part of us being preventative and proactive with how we are dealing with student behavior, student mental health issues. And so we have psychologists, social workers, guidance counselors, all of our assistant principals and student support staff, and we use this across the district. And it's been especially helpful to match the size of our response, the size of the problem there, and the nature of the threat with the type of response that we provide to students.
Ms. Chair, can I have a question real quick?
Yeah, go right ahead.
The threat assessment protocol, is it dealing with the threat happening in school, outside school, or online?
Mr. Lay, could be any of those.
All
Anything that makes its way to the school system or involves our students in some way that would require that meets the threshold that's required in a threat assessment, we would complete a threat assessment screener on. So there's a shorter version. And again, if that shorter version indicates a concern, you go to a much more in-depth one. But it can be as something as fleeting as a passing comment between kids in line at school, or it can be something that derived from a school sanctioned event or even a non-school sanctioned event that someone informs school personnel about, because it could potentially impact individuals in our care and in our custody during school. It's a great question.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, so our enhanced safety planning of trying to move forward is to, we were looking into rolling out on a slow rollout of the gate, which is a weapons detection at the high school. Do you want to show the video or?
We can, or it's linked as a reference as well.
Okay. So the cost for these costs go on slightly because those are old quotes. But we did do 2 visits to Lauren High School with administrators, Lowell Police Department, security personnel, safety coordinator, Superintendent came to one of those as well, to really look at how they've rolled it out and what it looks like there. It's a very smooth process. And they said it only took them about a week and a half, 2 weeks to get it redefined, so to speak, to get those kinks out. We would like to do a more smaller version of a rollout by getting community involved, staff and student notifications, sharing the videos to all, sending security team to Lawrence, which they've offered to do that so they could do training there. And we like to trial it with just a small group to start off with, maybe at gym or sporting events in the gymnasium. So it's opening it to the community as well. And then slowly getting to a full launch after evolving the issues addressed with a small group rollout.
So these tools are not the sort of metal detectors of the old days. They're the same products that you see, say you were going to Gillette Stadium to watch a Patriots game. You walk right through them. They're completely open, and they're not metal detectors. They're set to scan for particular weapons of particular sizes, and they act as a deterrent, a wonderful deterrent. And when in addition to Lawrence High School, a team went out this spring over to Brockton High School. So these are all schools that are about nipping on the heels in size of Lowell High School. We're still the largest. And really of the major high schools where we don't yet have these tools in our hands. We have wands when those are necessary at Lowell High School and at our smaller therapeutic day schools and our alternative schools. But this would be an opportunity for us, again, to help secure this large new campus that we have and to provide an opportunity to enhance safety and scanning, particularly beginning when we open school up after hours and we open to the public. So members are coming to watch a game at the athletic center. They're portable and can go to Colley Stadium. And if needed, we get some intel that there is, maybe something concerning brewing between two opposing rivalries, on the football field, for example. It's something we can bring portably and use in the district as needed. And so these are the recommendation of law enforcement. Our Captain Penrose and Sergeant Marshall have been very involved and really advocating for our your consideration of moving in this direction. We don't have as large an allocation in the safety budget during this current now fiscal year as we did last year. So even just price alone would be prohibitive in terms of any sort of quick rollout. But I propose that we could consider starting with perhaps 2 units that would allow us to kind of work flexibly. Would not provide what we would need if we decided as a committee, as a community, that we wanted these, say, to fully in-campus the main doors at Lowell High School, for example, but they would provide that opportunity to begin using these and begin socializing the public and to kind of, trial them in different locations and spaces. So we are looking for your feedback on this and the interest of the committee to continue to pursue this with our partners at Lowell Police Department.
So some of our enhanced safety plannings, we've done additional cameras and upgrades in 11 of our elementary schools. They received 5 interior cameras. We had a middle school that received an interior camera, an additional one, and an additional exterior camera that was needed for the busing location areas. And we've added one exterior at one of the elementary schools because we had an extra funding that was needed at that area as well. We'd like to see some additional more cameras. It's not adequate enough that I feel that we need a little bit more in some of the elementary schools. Our focus was on with the suggestion from the Lowell Police Department that we would center them facing the doors, the exterior doors, so if anybody's coming in, whether it be an intruder and or theft, that we would know which direction that they were going in. So they're not in classrooms or anything like that, but we were lacking those in the elementary schools, and we're very happy that they're up and running. We also we upgraded 2-way radios in 9 of our schools that really needed them. They had a lot of them that were broken and we didn't have enough for them to communicate during the day. So we've upgraded those with hopes that we can get the rest of them upgraded over the next few years as well. Again, that's a slow rollout, whatever funds we have. We'd like to get those upgraded as well because they were quite old.
In a recent collaborative meeting with the local police department, the local fire department, some EMS folks over at the police department, the police department would like to lead an integrated capital plan to do a full systems integration of all of our two-way radios across the city to allow folks to turn a channel and get direct access to local police, et cetera, via the two-way radio. So it would bring us to a whole different level of instantaneous communication. That would come with a recurring cost to our district annually. So they have a proposal to consider the use of some ARPA funding that may be available still through the city. That could help fund the units themselves. We would be on the hook for an annual maintenance agreement of it's just under $3,500 was the estimate that I was recently provided. So it seems to be a very reasonable long-term cost for us to really enhance the quality of our two-way radio systems and the accessibility, the direct accessibility from our schools into the integrated police department system. So that would be something, if this continues to move forward, I think there are some steps on the side of Lowell Police and their internal channels of how they're going to procure and look at funding. But as long as that continues to progress, then that on our end, on the school department's end, would be a minimal cost to significantly enhance what we currently have, despite the fact that we are continuing to upgrade our radios every single year.
Thank you. And we have 2 Lowell Public School staff trained, myself and somebody from the facilities department and CPR certified trainer. So, and we purchased the equipment so we can go around the district and get people CPR certified that need it. We'd like to see more of our staff, and there's always not that opportunity. This will be very cost effective for us because they're not having to pay for a trainer. They don't have to pay for the cards. They're not paying for me. I already work here. So it works out well with Lisa and I. So we'd like to do some trainings over the summer, get our facilities department up and running on days that we can do certain trainings with them or whoever's interested and make offers to those across the district.
And this goes for our athletic coaching staff, all of the folks that would be required to have that CPR first aid certification.
And I will say the CPI certification, one additional LPS staff were not able to do that last year, but we're still continuing to look into that. To do that. That's your de-escalation to be a trainer to help assist with those that need the certifications as well. We purchased, again, like I said, more go bags and prices flip charts. We have extras in case some go missing and or lost during cleanings over the summer and things like that. We did purchase reunification supplies to have the second reunification box. What that does is allow us to reunify parents with their children at a reunification site, which would be at the rally point or be at the cinema. So we have another, they call it a rocks box, and we have all the supplies to help support that initiative, which could be a very large scale. We purchased in 8 different languages. I think the top 8 languages, so parents and or family members would be able to read it and fill out the forms of that. We have additional life pack units. Those are anti-choking. We purchased 6 more. We needed more throughout the district. We wanted some for more at the high school for the restaurant area, and then also the second cafeteria that's coming in. Do you have any questions?
I would be happy to answer any additional questions. I know that was a ton of information compiled over now the course of a year, but it really is work that happens all day, every day, all year long to continuously improve safety at our schools. And it happens in a very coordinated fashion with great relationships with police and fire and folks that are actively working to the benefit of the public school students and staff to constantly increase safety. So I really do just want to name how terrific their partnership has been with us.
Thank you very much. I have a couple questions, but Mr. Conway, I'd defer to you first.
I'm all set for right now. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Lay, I don't know if you have any questions you'd like to pose?
Sure, I have a couple of questions. Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a quick question is, do you know if school nurses are CPR certified?
Yes, they are.
Oh, okay, good. And another question I have is, what protocol do we have right now to make sure that intruders don't come in the back door? I mean, you mentioned about the camera, when they come in, you can trace them, but what measure do we do to prevent them to come in the first place?
You can start with this, if you don't have to add anything. Yeah.
Obviously, the education for our students and staff to not prop doors. That's continuously always addressed throughout the year. It's anytime a prop door is seen, we make sure that it's closed. We have, like, for example, some schools that have it on their phone that the alarm goes off and then somebody's in charge of going around to check all the doors. We have our SROs that go around and check the doors, and they do that from the exterior to make sure that the doors aren't propped and that they can't open them. If there's a latch that's broken of some sort. So they do those are the types of audits that we do. Anytime I end up going to a building, which I'm there every day, not all buildings, but we do the perimeter check. And then the administrators will do those perimeter checks as well at the high school security team, you know. And it's more the education with the students and staff, and to gentle reminders. If we see a student doing that, it's a reminder that we can't do that in propping doors.
And leaders are really good about letting the facilities folks know if there is a door that has suddenly become sticky or isn't latching, and that is treated by DPW as an emergency response. So they generally send it out immediately to address whatever the concern is with the latching mechanism.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Ms. Martin,
Yes,
can I ask you
go
a
right
question?
ahead, Mr. Conway.
Yeah, this report, is this going to be, when you make the to the school committee, is that report going to go along with it?
The slide deck?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, Mr. Conway, we had initially put the slide deck in the main meeting, I think, agenda, and move the presentation to the subcommittee so it could be discussed more formally. But we would be happy to bring this forward to the general committee, particularly because there's a component of this that introduces the potential for some new expenditures, specifically around the two-way radios with the police department, which we're not ready to move forward, we're waiting on both police, but specifically the concept, the idea of considering weapons detection units and whether that is the right next step.
We'll have the hard copy in the report then.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot.
there it is. It's comprehensive.
There's a lot to digest.
Absolutely, and it is linked in the agenda currently for this particular meeting, so it is available online. Sheehan has a hard copy for you.
Oh, you like that?
There you go. Okay, and the aim, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Conway. I just had a couple quick questions. One was, and this is, I guess, more of an impression on my part, as as you kind of made this presentation, there's a great deal of things that seem like natural next steps. Like strengthening the connection between the two-way radios between us and the police department. That seems like a very natural progression. That makes a lot of sense. I think, increasing our ability to provide CPR and things like that, again, makes a lot of sense. ALICE training, something that's been part of our district for a long time. So, I think those all seem like kind of, again, like natural next steps to further enhance the safety in our schools and our school facilities. I do see the weapons detection as a broad leap, as something very different from what we've kind of had available. I can appreciate that, for our security guards and whatnot, that they do have kind of wands that they're able to use, like, you know, so that's kind of a baseline. But my question is, what exactly is it that we're responding to, where we're feeling like we need to take this kind of dramatic move at basketball games and everyday, you know, school entrance and release times and things like that? Is there something specific that we're not aware of that you're responding to, that you feel that this is appropriate and necessary?
Thank you, Ms. Martin. So the conversation around this actually was generated from our partners at Lowell Police Department, and with just our general work in what is now considered. So what is the recommendation for safety best practices has continued to evolve over time as we have experienced in our country more and more and more issues that involve a significant amount of safety concern for our young people, our staff. There is no specific incident or no collection of incidents that would suggest that there is an emergency in our part or that this is responding or reactive. It actually should be interpreted as a proactive next step, because this has now become, and there are several other large urban district high schools that are already sort of ahead of us in this domain. This has become sort of the new baseline standard for what the expectations are for maintaining safety in such a large campus as, for example, Lowell High School is. And so it is more the recommendation that this is now the new standard for baseline in student and staff safety for large campuses, instead of a reaction to something that may have happened. So I'd like to make sure that as we consider exploring this, that we're doing that through the lens of, this is what the safety experts that work with us, that partner with nationally renowned experts, that attend and stay current as Ms. Gabighi does, and that as our SRO team and their affiliates do, that they have understood this to be the sort of school resource industry gold standard for how we proceed in 2026. So I'd love for us to be on the proactive side of this and not be the city that waited for something, you know, to happen and put all these wonderful plans, response plans that we have into place, but did not go all the way through with the preventative measures that are now recommended by the safety experts in the school resource industry.
Okay. I appreciate that. I think what might be helpful when we do present this to the full committee would be to have some kind of real world data on exactly what is, like, what we're responding to. I'm understanding what you're saying, that there's no burgeoning problem, so that's certainly good news. But I mean, whether it's coming from us, whether maybe it's, you know, coming from some of the other districts that do this, like, what are they actually finding as a result of having this technology in place? You can tell I'm concerned about kind of overreach and you know, whatnot. So I'd really like to get a sense of what exactly it is we're trying to respond to.
Thank you, Ms. Martin.
That's some additional information that might be provided at the next school committee meeting. I think I'd find that to be helpful.
We would be happy to do that. I think that in our internal discussions, we would share the concerns around optics, right, and how it would make people feel. That really necessitated for us the follow-up visit to Lawrence High School, where we really saw how well integrated, and again, the spring visit to Brockton High School was very similar, just how well integrated these systems are, and that Lawrence High School in particular, and Brockton High School as well, were able to show us significantly impressive reductions in student incidences with the introduction of these systems and, as Ms. Gilbicki explained, all of the camera upgrades that have been happening throughout the schools. And of course, we have a brand new high school with state-of-the-art camera. Those tools have worked in tandem with the humans in the school safety, security guard, school resource officers to bring some dramatic. We were really so impressed with, because I, like you, asked the same question of the folks in Lawrence. Show me the data. What was the data that told you this was the right thing to do? And they had some really impressive numbers. And so Mr. Fiato and his team at Lowell High School would, worked closely with the principal at Lawrence High School, and we were able to ask them those hard questions. So I'd be happy to use that sort of as a case example, because it is our most geographic, our geographic neighbor that has this very, very similar situation that we have here in Lowell, in terms of size, urban density, and again, they had a pretty new facility when they introduced these measures, as we are getting ready to put the finishing touches on our new facility as well.
Okay, so I think that would be, some interesting additional information for us to have before we start making final decisions on each individual item that you're looking to move forward on. Thank you very much to both of you for all this information. If there aren't any other questions, I'd entertain a motion to accept this as a report of progress to be presented to the full school committee at our next meeting. Motion by, I can't really see, so I'm going to guess Mr. Conway.
I'm not on.
Mr. Lay.
Might I just ask before you vote if we would be able to do this at the September 3rd meeting? The leaders are just returning on
Sure.
Monday, just because the turnaround time for the next agenda is very, very short.
Oh, sure. That's perfectly fine. That's fine. Thank you. So all those in favor say aye. Opposed?
Funny,
Yes.
Mr. Rossi is on it and Mr. Lay. So,
Oh,
and Mr. Rossi's absent, so it'd be, you
okay.
could make,
So a motion, I'll make the motion. Seconded by Mr. Lay. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
I need a roll call though, I'm sorry, because you're on. So, Chairperson,
Yes.
Mr. Rossi, Mr. Lay,
Yes.
3 yeas.
Excellent. Our second topic is a motion by Ms. Del Rossi. Request the superintendent create a focus group involving Lowell Police, safety coordinator, assistant superintendents, representatives from all bus transportation companies, and parents to develop a clear timeline of September 3rd events to improve overall communications and safety procedures in emergency lockdown situations during arrival and dismissal times. I'm not sure, Ms. Crocker-Roberge, has any activity happened on this?
Thank you, Ms. Martin. So after this event and any major events, it is standard practice for us to have a comprehensive debriefing, which did take place. It actually took place prior to this motion even being made. So it is part of the protocol if there is any significant event within the district or that requires multiple agencies responding, as it did on the event of September 3rd. We will have a comprehensive debriefing. We'll go over after action reports in terms of what happened, how was the response, where are the areas of strength, what are the opportunities to improve, and what's the action plan moving forward. So as a result, we had we had a large fire in the district, unfortunately, last spring that did affect similarly buses being able to access the route. We were able to implement some of the changes that we made from the September 3rd event, and then again did another after action debriefing where we really looked at all of the performance of each of the different entities. And so that is standard protocol. And that will continue to happen if there's any major event within our jurisdiction.
Okay. Where Ms. Del Rossi isn't here, what I'm actually going to recommend is that she'll have an opportunity to review this, your response. If she does have any follow-up questions, she can certainly take advantage of resubmitting this motion or, even just speaking with you directly, Ms. Crocker-Roberge, to get her questions answered. So thank you very much for that. I don't have any other topics on this agenda. So if nobody has any other follow-up questions? No? All right, then I would entertain a motion from Mr. Lay to adjourn. And I would second that motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Chairperson,
Yes.
Mr.
How can
Rossi,
I help you?
Mr. Lay,
Yes.
2 yeas, 1 absent.
Thank you, Ms. Martin.
Excellent.